Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sedef Budak, founder president of Turkish Women in Renewables and Energy Platform, which is the biggest organization in energy sector of Turkey. We do have 1,500 women members online with thousands of male and female followers. As we are in the second day and last session of Energy Efficiency Summit, VEZIR 21, I am very proud to host Ms. Annette Galskot, Consul General of Denmark in Istanbul. Welcome, Ms. Galskot.
Thank you so much.
Could I call you Annette if it's possible?
Absolutely.
With your name?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. You served as CEO of the International Housing and Planning Federation in Denmark. You also served as commercial attaché at the Danish Embassy in Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. Now, since 2018, you are appointed here in Istanbul as Consul General and living here with your family, right?
Yes. Well, actually, right now I live here on my own. But the first 2 years,
Okay.
I was here with my children and my husband and my two dogs, and we had the privilege of living in Imergan, close to Imergan Park.
Yes,
And
yes.
absolutely amazing, with a view of the Bosphorus, and a fantastic experience for the 2 years, both for the kids with their schools and experience the Turkish society. And we all loved it a lot. But due to Corona and all of these unfortunate circumstances, the children and my husband moved back to Denmark. And this last year, I have been commuting with great difficulty again due to the pandemic. But that's the way it is. I guess all of us all over the world.
Yes, yes. I hope it is really temporary, not permanent. And yeah, after all these vaccines, completed, then we really all the humanity has the resistance against the virus. And yeah, it is unbelievable. But yeah, we are experiencing it. So yeah. So today our topic is Denmark energy strategies. And I would like to leave you the screen. Let me open your presentation. Then we will have our ears and eyes on you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having small difficulties on the technicals. I think I'll close it and open it again. Just a sec. We are having a technical difficulty. It was working before, but now it's not working. I'll try to open the in PDF format. I hope it does. Let me try again. No, I can't. If it's okay, we can listen you, and in the meantime, I'll try to open it. Okay, Annette?
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much for inviting me here today. It's a privilege to be in the closing session of your 2-day conference, and of course, the subject on energy and energy efficiency, and of course, the whole green transition is the most important. It's one of the most important subjects and strategies for Denmark right now. So. I think we can skip this slide and move to the next one. And nope, yeah, sorry, great, thanks a lot. Basically, coming from Denmark with a small population of less than 6 million people, just having lived in Istanbul for 3 years with a population of 18 million, it's funny to come from a country which is the third of the size of this city in Turkey. But we do believe that we have a fantastic and big role to play on the green scene worldwide. We have been doing this green transition for more than 50 years. And we do believe that economic growth and green transition can go hand in hand. In October last year, our government launched a very ambitious strategy called the Green and Sustainable World. And this really sets our aim and direction on the international climate scene. We do believe that as Denmark, with our green technologies, with the transition that we have been enduring the last many years, that we do actually have a role to play also on the international scene in advising and cooperating with countries around the world that maybe has not reached the same level of green transition as we have. And I will come back to that later in the presentation. You can shift slide, please.
Can I have a word on you with that? Each time I am giving lectures at universities or to my friends, young friends, I'm always giving the example from Denmark, because the innovation and the switching to the energy transition, the green energy, it's because you had to do it.
Exactly.
But you will explain what happened and how happened. But bad things brings good things, especially for the the welfare of the society, and the decarbonization, and switching into the green. So I am glad that bad things happened. Then we are talking about inspiring from the Danish people and the technologies actually. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, but it's true. It was we had to do something, because back in the 70s we were almost 100% reliant on fossil fuels, and my generation will remember the oil crisis, where, for example, in Denmark we had this thing called carless Sundays, where we were not allowed to use the car. We could go around on bicycles or stay at home or go for walks in order to really bring down energy consumption in the country, because energy was becoming so expensive. And that's basically what started this whole green transition in Denmark, because we just knew that we had to do something. And as you say, need creates solutions, and that started the whole wind energy sector in Denmark. It started the whole district energy sector in Denmark, and today, I think we can probably proudly call us one of the state-of-the-art countries in the world in respect of achieving the green transition. We are a front runner on renewable energy, and we do believe that economic growth goes hand in hand with green solutions and job creation. And in that way, we can have a Kindereier, these German little chocolates of positiveness, if we combine.
Yes, Kinder surprise eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is our Kinder surprise: economic growth, job creation, and green solutions.
Yes.
And the figures prove to support this, because really in the period from 1990 to 2019, our GDP increased by 67%, and in the same time, the greenhouse gases declined by 37%, and employment in the green sector grew 4 times faster than in the private sector in general. So I think these are good examples of how it does actually make a lot of sense to do this green transition. I think we are especially known for our wind power, also solar to some extent, but wind power is a very important factor to the green transition. Today, more than 50% of the electricity in Denmark comes from wind power, and we're aiming to increase this. But we also have bioenergy and biomass, and we have energy plants that are fueled by by these wood pills and wooden material. Now I think the whole discussion.
Bio-waste
Yes,
material and
yes.
biomass.
The
Do you
problem
have
is
also geothermal on it?
no,
Do you have
no,
okay.
we're not a geothermal country.
Mhm.
But the problem with biomass is that we don't produce it ourselves. So biomass waste heat is fantastic if you have a lot of waste biomass, but we
Yes.
have to import a lot of the waste biomass that we burn, and therefore gradually
Mhm.
we're trying to transition away from biomass into other renewable energy resources.
Mhm.
So I talked about district heating, and district heating is basically tubes, huge big tubes that you dig down in the ground in a grid
Mhm. Mhm.
in the city, and you fill them with water, and you heat the water with surplus energy from a factory.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it can be a geothermal factory. For example, here in Turkey, we have district energy systems that are fueled by geothermal energy. It
Mhm.
can come from solar power, but it can also come from waste to energy. It can come from big waste management facilities. And the beauty about district energy, I think, is that you can start with the heat that you already have. So if you have huge factories producing something, and you can use the energy from that. And we have, coal-fired power plants, and we have and these coal-fired power plants, of course, in themselves are not very sustainable. But when you take the surplus heat from them, at least you take some of the generation which wasn't used before, and you put it into this district heating system, and the energy efficiency increases to a large extent. Today, more than 65% of Danish households are fueled by district energy, and the national goal is to increase this to 75%. And then over time, when you become more and more sustainable, you can use the surplus energy from your renewable energy plant. So you can take the surplus energy from your waste to energy plant, or your biomass, or your solar power plant, and put it into to the district energy system. And
When I'm
yeah,
sorry. When I'm reading this, Copenhagen aims to be world's first carbon neutral capital
yeah,
by 2025. So there is not much left.
no, and
It
great.
is a very quick target, right?
It is, but one of the reasons why Copenhagen is quite sure that they will achieve this is that by the end of this year,
Mhm.
Copenhagen will be fully fueled by district energy, the district energy system. So, and we have these huge power plants. I will come back to one of them. I think on the next. We can shift to the next slide, please.
Mhm.
And yeah, so we're basically trying to combine the different efforts to get the most benefit out of it. Just a little legal info here. So basically, all the Danish energy. Oh, it disappeared again.
Sorry,
Never mind.
I'm trying to make it bigger. Okay.
There it
Yes.
is. I think we can share the presentation with anybody who
Okay.
wants to get the presentation afterwards. If
Okay.
that is fine. But the Danish Climate Act is regulating how we do this energy transition, and we have a very ambitious goal of reducing greenhouse gases
Mhm.
by 2030 by 70%, and we will have a climate neutral society by 2050, which is basically at par with the EU aims. But of course, it takes a lot of efforts and a lot of work. And of course, the big aim is to do what we can do to limit the global temperature rise to not more than 1.5 degrees. We
Mhm.
are part of every international convention and agreement you can think of. We're the only country in the world being part of both the EU and the UN and the Arctic Council. And we are, of course, for this presentation in the Paris Agreement, and also actively promoting the Sustainable Development Goals. Our
Yes.
is to create more green skilled jobs, and at the same time avoid inequality, and do our best to help access to clean energy and water also in the developing world.
I'll just can I add you something on this, Annette? Uh, about this inequality topic. The Also, that's an important topic, and that's why I actually started the Turkish Women in Renewables and Energy platform, to bring some equality into the energy sector, to make the male bosses hire more women, more green collar women into the sector, and that's why we are been developing programs, trainees, technical trainees, işte mentorship program, and also free webinars, technical trainees for male and for female young engineers who would like to work in this green field, and to be part of the energy transition. And when I am telling energy transition, because there are many young students now listening us, just to briefly, to be really independent from the fossil fuels, to use our own water, wind, solar, geothermal, and also waste, to be able to produce heat and electric, and also while doing this, to have our own technology, not only Danish technology. I'm not arguing about it. We are using Vestas everywhere, but I mean that's not the topic. We should also able to produce, and actually we are producing tower and blades, but not the nacelle, not the generator yet. But we should able to also produce nacelle and generator. Also, maybe just transferring know-how through, I don't know, the Vestas, RWT, and blah blah, some Danish important technology providers. And so we should able to, build a hub in Turkey for the to ship, to produce, to ship the products also from here to the other countries, the countries that is far from Europe, is far from Denmark, Norway, and blah blah, let's say. So this is on these specific topics. We should be really collaborating, supporting each other. And we are neighbors at the end of the day. We are just sitting in between the Asia and Europe, and you're in the North Europe. It's we are just all neighbors at the end of the day, and the neighbors need each other's coffee. We have the Turkish expression. So
no, I agree. I totally agree. I think you're very right. Both, if I can comment on both of the things you said. First and foremost, women in the technology areas. I think it's a fantastic initiative you have taken. I think it's very necessary. We do need to have both men and women in any kind of business, basically. But traditionally, I think the energy business has been very male dominated. It's also like that in Denmark, and we need to inspire our young students to choose the directions of these subjects, and to enter into to these kind of education, so they can go out and work alongside the men. I really believe a lot in diversity, in not only men and women, but also gender, or not only gender, but also on age and on nationality. I think there are so many ways we can inspire each other, and that leads me to your hub thinking. Actually, next week on Friday. Next week, we will have another webinar hosted together with the Danish Wind Manufacturers Association, which my colleague Seda is leading, and
yes.
It will take place on Friday at 11, and you can find the login details on one of our many social media platforms. And it's an outsourcing seminar. It's basically showing Danish companies where they can acquire very high quality elements for the energy business, and it's on wind on Friday. And we do believe that there's a big cooperation here. We do believe that Turkey now has a huge opportunity to be the next big sourcing country
It's,
for
it's it is a wind hub. It is a wind hub.
yeah.
It's really
But
a wind hub.
it can be even bigger. Like you said, there are things you're not producing yet. But just for the things you are already producing, there's a huge potential for Danish companies. And I think also the pandemic has made it quite clear that we are too dependent on the Far East when something like this happens. And
Yeah.
therefore, being in a situation where you could actually truck elements of, I think, produced in Turkey in 3 days to Northern Europe. It's a total different business than having to ship everything from China or from other parts
Yeah.
of the Far
And
East.
it is not sustainable, Annette. It's not
No,
sustainable. All the big vessels, all the oil and petroleum they're using, all the carbon they are, this the carbon emission. It's not
yeah.
sustainable. You have to produce at the closest place that you are going to install and commission
Mhm.
and to produce the electric. That is the meaning of sustainability. Otherwise, not it's. I mean, it's not anymore the case of being cheap or economic. No, it's the case of if you are providing some procurement sustainable goods and sustainable services, then also the World Bank, EBRD, and also the local banks, they are also supporting those ideas.
Mhm.
I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I think there's still a lot to do. We are now from the Trade Council in Istanbul looking very much at Turkey for a production hub, not only in the wind business but also other areas. And I think this will be a big task for us in the coming years, and we look forward to this cooperation with Turkey. Coming back to Denmark and the Danish story.
yes,
What
let's
we
open
did,
again. Yeah.
we aim to be one of the 5 most sustainable foreign services in the world. So we are actually taking our own medicine in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And that, again, coming back to sustainability and inequality, I think it's important to also talk about sustainability standing on 3 legs, right? You have economic, environmental, and social. And if you don't also look at the social side of sustainability, you will not be able to achieve the green transition, because energy inequality, energy poverty is a huge
Mhm. Yes.
discussion point in the world. And this is a social point also. So I think we have to be very aware of the fact that we need to work on all the 3 legs.
We have very nice questions in the meantime. If it's okay, I would like to share with you, Annette.
Absolutely.
One of our audience asked, the production of nuclear energy has been banned in Denmark on 1985. How did Denmark gave this decision? Nuclear always seen as dangerous, but according to an opinion, new technology prevent the dangers. They call it. I would like to hear your views on nuclear energy.
But we took a very conscious decision back in the 80s that we did not want nuclear energy in Denmark. We had a big nuclear energy plant just across the sea in Sweden, and Barsebäck, it was called. It's closed now. Being a relatively small country, and with the sustainable energy technology that we did produce in Denmark, we did not need nuclear energy. And I agree that nuclear energy today can present a very interesting alternative to fossil fuels if you don't, for larger countries and larger areas, because it can
Yes.
also be very expensive to introduce environmentally friendly energy sources. But for Denmark, this was never it hasn't been an issue since, because with the development of our green technology strategy and with wind now consisting of providing more than 50% of the energy that we need, we don't really need to take the risks that are also embedded in nuclear energy.
So you currently have more than 50% of electricity, I mean, produced by wind, right?
Yeah.
In here today, we have only 17. Wind and solar and biomass and geothermal total. We are only producing our 17% of our total installed capacity. If I consider also hydro dams and the river types, then it sum up to the 52%. The rest is oil, I mean the fossil fuels, coal, and unfortunately the natural gas we are buying from Russia.
Yeah, and I
So it is. We are demanding. I mean, we are like we are relying on other countries and their
yeah.
politics and whatever they would like to do in terms of pricing and everything. If they just shut down, stop the gas, then what? We are the 50% of the Turkey. What we are going to get cold, or no electric, no heat. What we are
But
going to do?
but Sedef, you were this is where Denmark was in the 70s. You know, it's exactly the
I
same
know.
situation.
I know. I know.
We were very dependent on fossil fuels and the import of natural gas and coal and oil. So we introduced, we started our whole green transition, and I think Turkey is at the right track. There are a lot of reasons why it's not going faster as it is, and financing is definitely one of them, because we all know that the Turkish economy is challenged these days, and there are huge investments to be made to put up these wind farms and solar plants. But you need to do it because it is the only way forward.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can, of course, also build nuclear factories, which I think you are also doing. But
We are building two
but
nuclear.
yeah, but I think you should focus much more on exploring these. There's still more than 40 gigawatt wind
Yes.
power energy potential in Turkey.
And now we are just 6.4 gigawatts. It should be around 40 gigawatt. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are financing opportunities both through the World Bank and other local finance opportunities.
Yes.
We have in Denmark a very interesting vehicle called the Fund for Industrialization of Developing Countries, IFU, and IFU is basically supporting and investing in green technology all over the world in DAC countries, and Turkey is on the so Turkey can be part of that, and SEDA's energy team at the consulate is working a lot to identify new business opportunities for IFU, and the big wind park could be a potential. We are actually right now discussing with Istanbul Energy, how can we from Denmark's side make Istanbul a more sustainable city in respect of energy consumption. And I think this is basically also very much our mission, because we're very far in our own green transition, and I think I'm absolutely sure by 2050 we will be climate neutral. But 5.6 million people's energy consumption does not really help the global green transition a lot. Of course, it's good that we are there, but at the end of the day, it's a big.
But 83 million does. 83 million does. So.
Exactly, and therefore we have appointed some 20 green frontline missions around in the world that help the countries that these embassies are in through the Trade Council, with looking at how can you be inspired by what we do in Denmark? How can we help you?
Yeah.
We have a climate ambassador that basically travels around, teaches the world and inspires the world on the Danish climate transition.
It is very nice climate ambassador. It's very nice. Yeah.
And I think another thing which is important is that we have appointed a number of specialists that work on government-to-government corporations, also within energy. And we have one in Turkey since 2017. We have had a cooperation with Turkey on district energy and also on offshore wind. And we have a colleague sitting at the embassy in Ankara being the coordinator between the Turkish Ministry of Energy and the Danish Energy Agency. It's called the Strategic Sector Corporation, and it's supported by Danish development funds. And I think
Yes.
really this is one of the best ways of inspiring other countries. It's to dig down and see, okay, what is it actually that the potential is here in Turkey,
Yes.
and how
Yes.
can
Yes.
we help you and show you what we did. And we are helping on making a new law for district energy and the framework around offshore wind. And I think in this way we can reach beyond our borders, and in that way we can help the global transition, not just by becoming green ourselves.
So we also have nice questions linking it what you have been talking actually. Um, Does the government offers incentives to promote the development of renewable energy projects? In addition, has the government established policies that also promote renewable energy? That was one question. And what is the Danish approach to electric vehicle taxation? Because we have crazy taxes, that's why we couldn't get the cars at the moment in Turkey. And yeah, I agree on that one. And also another one, then Denmark imports around 12% of its energy. The statistic includes all forms of energy, not just electricity. How Denmark is planning to manage this issue in the future? Yes.
Ooh, that was a lot of questions.
Yes.
You have to remind me if I forget something.
Okay.
But basically, taking the last one first, what we are doing is promoting renewable energy. We have established 2 energy islands. Last year, we decided to build 2 energy islands off the coast of Denmark, and these islands will be powered by wind turbines that we are erecting. We have the largest offshore energy wind farms in the world, and we are expanding this, and we are aiming to have 70% plus of our energy or our electricity coming from wind. You can't always look at how much we are importing, because we also part of this energy stock exchange in energy exchange in Europe. So we
Yeah.
might be importing some energy, but then we export some other energy. So it's like we import hydro energy from Sweden, and then we export
Yeah, yeah.
wind energy to Germany, and so it's a big complex market. But at the end of the day, we are promoting wind energy to a very large extent. Wind energy is now almost as cheap as fossil fuel energy, because the technology has advanced so much, and we are support. So we're not providing that much subsidy anymore in Denmark. It's not necessary.
Is it like offsetting the electric, or I mean
No,
when you are feeding the grid and when you are getting back from electric to grid with the meters, you are comparing how much you get, how much you give it back. So
yeah,
or it is like
no,
normal selling, invoicing and selling.
it's
Okay, too much technical
yeah,
movement.
I think that's a bit too technical for me, but I'm sure we can find the answers for you
Okay,
if you.
okay, okay.
Uh, but but uh, but basically, a lot of investment have gone into, and a lot of subsidies have been put into the renewable energy schemes in Denmark. But now, with the advancement of technology, for example, waste to energy, we have built this huge new waste to energy facility in Copenhagen, which is also a leisure park. So it's been done by one of our prime architects, big in Denmark, Bjarke Engels, who's worldwide known for all his crazy buildings. He's also built the new World Trade Tower in the US. So he turned this waste plant into a skiing hill. So basically, the waste plant is now converting 440 tons of waste into
Mhm.
energy on an annual basis, heating 150,000 households. But at the same time, it's a place where you can go skiing because they have artificial snow on
Yes.
and it's made like a hill. So I think we've also been quite good at looking at the combining these energy initiatives with sustainable urban development. Also looking at Denmark, it's one of the top 2 bike nations in the world. We are always competing with the Netherlands. I think we must admit that they're probably further ahead of us. But at the end of the day, part of the urbanization strategy in Denmark, and especially part of the regeneration of Copenhagen, which has taken place the last 30 years, was to put in very efficient bike infrastructure. And, you know, millions of Danes bike every day. And we put in these bike lanes, these bike motorways, if you can call them that, that are connecting the suburbs to Copenhagen. So in a radius of 30 kilometers around Copenhagen, you have these big bike lanes where no cars and no lightning and no nothing at all. So you can basically just bicycle. And with the introduction of the electrical bike, this has proven to become very efficient, which leads me to the question about electric vehicles.
Yes.
And we have a subsidy scheme in place for electrical vehicles. So it's still a much better. We don't pay any import taxation on electrical vehicles now. It's the government has been trying to take it away for a couple of years, but there's been such outcries that it's still in place. So it's much cheaper to buy an electrical vehicle than it is to buy a normal car, for example. And we're putting in the infrastructure for electricity, you know, so people can actually get their fuel. And we have introduced a very ambitious strategy of moving from normal petrol fuel cars into electrical cars over the next 10-15 years.
Actually, we also as TWRE, we have a working group for e-mobility, and we are publishing the mini videos every month to inform the our followers, to inform society what is really e-mobility, what is electrical cars, and how we can approach, how we can reach out, and how the way to increase the numbers, and also our suggestions to the policymakers how it should be, and so with also collaboration with electrical cars and the similar working groups for the association just established for this topic specifically. And also recently, last month, the Ministry of Environment has announced the new regulation about the e-charge stations. So for the schools, public places, with like the shopping malls and etc., with the parking lot of minimum 2,000, so they has to have the e-charge stations. So it's like the government also supporting, to motivate us to buy, but it's still the taxes are very high. And in most of the European countries, when you decided to buy a hybrid or electrical car, you don't pay a tax for 1 or 2 years. And even though the government made you be sure that you have the price reduction, 2,000, 3,000 euro, etc. So, but in here it is now still very expensive. But I believe also, again, I'm going back to the sustainable production. If we produce the cars here in Turkey or transfer the know-how, then it will lead us in a better position with the much more mass production and mass sales, and switch to decarbonization will be much more easier. So
absolutely. I think I'd like to highlight on electrical vehicles in Denmark is this car sharing system that we have. So when you come to Copenhagen, you don't actually need a car, because you can just download this app. And then there are hundreds of small electrical cars in the city. And you just book it with your app, and you pay per minute. And you put it, and you can park it anywhere where there's public parking, and you don't pay any parking. And you can, and there is special parking for electrical vehicles. So it's actually also promoting lesser cars in the city. Whole sharing economy and circular economy, which is also a big thing in Denmark. And at the same time, it's bringing down CO2 emissions. And for example, when we came back from Bangladesh in 2014 from my previous posting at the embassy there, we had 2 cars, and then one car broke down, and we decided not to get a second car. So we have only 1 car. And actually that car is most of the time sitting in the street outside our house, because we don't really use it. We use our bicycles combined with the train, and we use these public car sharing electrical vehicles to get around. And it just works really well. And actually, when you in the work you are talking about, you should check out, if you haven't already seen it, that MIT made a really interesting study, I think in 2017 or 15, on Singapore, on introducing electrical vehicles in Singapore, and also introducing driverless technology. And that study shows that if Singapore moved to fully electrical vehicles with driverless technology, 1/3 of all the cars could disappear, and this free up a lot of space from parking lots that could then be turned into housing or creative areas, and that, you know, to some extent this could also be very interesting for a city like Istanbul, because there's no space in Istanbul, there's no recreation areas in Istanbul. 1%
Yes.
of Istanbul is green, and that's including the graveyards, you know. So
Yes.
but that's, I think there's a lot of potential, and I think for us in Denmark, we do have some very interesting technologies, and that we would like to promote and are promoting. Also in Turkey, like Vestas for the wind turbine, we have a company called Danfoss that produces the technology for district energy. We have, you know, Danfoss that produces technology for pumps that uses far less technology for water, you know, for water usage. So, and a living lab, you know, we're a little bit of a living lab as a country, because we are so small, and we decided a long time ago that we wanted to be sustainable. We wanted to have a green energy transition. And I think we are reaching it. We have a goal of 100% renewable electricity by 2027. That's in 6 years. And we already have a whole island in Denmark being 100% renewable energy electrified. So I think it's doable, and we would love to, you know, to continue these partnerships with other countries, and of course, especially Turkey in this context. And be able to help Turkey in its green energy transition, because there's an enormous potential here, and I think there's actually also a willingness from the government side. They know that it could also bring down the dependency on import of natural gas, so that's a win-win situation. And Turkey is also part of the Paris Agreement, part of the Sustainable Development Goals. So we have the same interest at heart. We are in Europe, and we are partners, and SDG 17 is on partnerships, and that's my favorite SDG 17 SDG, you know. So, and I think this is too, and this is why this kind of forum discussing with you is also very useful, I think, to get the dialogue going, and to inform about what is possible out there in respect of partnerships and collaboration.
Thank you very much. It's about 5:20. I think we should close the session. Sorry, we didn't have much time but actually you actually explained all the presentation already, you know, by talking. So it was very inspiring for us. And I am giving the word to the organizers. Actually, I think there will be a closing speech. Kapanış konuşması için size pası atıyorum değerli arkadaşlar.
Anette Hanım, Sedef Hanım, değerli bilgileriniz için ikinize de çok teşekkür ediyorum. İlerleyen etkinliklerde tekrardan görüşmek dileğiyle.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anette. It was
Thank
a pleasure to have you.
It was a pleasure to join. I think my colleague has shared our email address. If anybody's interested in getting the presentation, write to us, and we will send it, or any other questions you may have. We are absolutely there to answer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. Çok teşekkür ederiz katılımcılarımız. Çok güzel sorular ve takibiniz için. Güzel günlerde görüşmek üzere. I see you in healthy days. Okay.
İyi günler dilerim.
Hoşçakalın. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Sevgili konuklarımız, yaklaşık 1 yıldır üzerinde çalıştığımız, EMP olarak düzenlediğimiz verimlilik zirvesi Webinar tek altyapısında tam 16 paneliyle 2 gün sizlerin huzurundaydı. Bizleri dinlediğiniz için, bizlerle olduğunuz için başta tüm konuklarımız olmak üzere hepinize teşekkür ediyoruz. Fakat en büyük teşekkür, kurucumuz Bahadır Kaya'nın babası, enerji sektörüne tam 30 yılını veren Atilla Kaya'ya. Kendilerine Allah'tan rahmet diliyor, onun nezdinde enerjiye gönül veren tüm ışığın emekçilerine saygılarımızı sunuyoruz. Evet, Vezir 21 bitti. Fakat bizler üreten, efektif mühendisler olarak yepyeni çalışmalarımızla sizlerleyiz. Bizleri takip edebilir, bizimle iletişime geçerek ailemize sizler de dahil olabilirsiniz. Enerjiyle kalın, sağlıcakla.